Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the Raichu in the Open Great League. This Pokemon is actually learning the move Brick Break, which got buffed still this season. Well, it's the end of the season, it's still this season, but I have not seen anybody actually use this Pokemon yet, so why not check it out? It is actually supposed to be better than Trailblaze, which is Pokemon learns. I actually made a video about Raichu before as well already, which was quite an interesting one because we were running Skull Bash, and Skull Bash was a lot of fun to play on this Pokemon. So let's see what is the best second charge move on this Pokemon. If you enjoy this type of video, feel free to leave a like and also subscribe if you have not already. And we can see here already Dugong going down to our double electric backline of Charger Bug as well as our Raichu. Generally speaking, this team, of course, is a little bit more on, I don't know, like, yeah, of course, like, Raichu is not, like, the best Pokemon that you can run in the Open Great League, but still a lot of fun. And also, Charger Bug is actually most likely the best kind of Say-Swap that you can run with this. Back then, they actually was running Registeel Say-Swap with the Raichu in the back, but nowadays, of course, this was actually before Gligar was available. Gligar is quite easily shutting down something like a Registeel unless you run it with a Flash Cannon, which might be actually an interesting video idea. So maybe this might be something for the future. But anyway, we're going to see the Feraligatr getting an Hydro Cannon off against the opponent's Bastiodon, and another one is going to follow here as well. So maybe we can see some Brick Break action now against that Bastiodon with our Raichu. Raichu is quite squishy, but if you can catch a move, that doesn't really matter too much. As you're gonna see here, Stone Edge coming through onto the Charger Bug, and we can just go ahead and go for the Brick Break. This should not knock them out. Brick Break is a pretty, like, yeah, weak move, but at least it got the buff this season that the defense is falling there guaranteed, which is quite nice for this move. And as you're gonna see, we can go for the full farm down, have a ton of energy, and the incoming Annihilate will not appreciate this wild charge, and Raichu going to win us this first game. Honestly, I think even a Brick Break would have been enough at this HP range. But anyway, we want to see an Electric-type Pokemon in the lead, which is totally fine for us, because we have two Pokemon in the back that are good against Electric-type Pokemon, like Lantern at least, because, yeah, Raichu might not be good against other Electric-type Pokemon, but against the Lantern you still do neutral damage with the Wild Charge, which is quite nice. The Altaria is going to be a tougher one here. I am most likely going to let the next move go through here, I would imagine. Exactly, keep the shield advantage, and I can go now into my Feraligatr. Most likely going to take a move here anyway, because I don't really want to give up the shield advantage, as we are going to be a little bit weak against the Lantern still with our lead. And now I'm going to try to get some extra energy before the Lantern comes back in, which is quite nice for me, as I can go straight for the Wild Charge. Brick Break would have been a little bit too risky here in my opinion, and as we're gonna see here, it was definitely not needed to go for a Brick Break first. Now I can try to go for a Brick Break, but I'm a little bit scared that this might not be enough. We have some lag here, which is a little bit annoying as well, which is still happening, which is what it is. But we can hopefully go for the full farm down now against the opponent, ending up with a 100 energy. Let's see what's coming in next. It's going to be let's see, it is going to be the Altaria. I can farm them all the way down, and so we are still at 100 energy. They go into the Skarmory, and Raichu is going to go for the full sweep here. Now we can go for the Wild Charge and say goodbye to the opponent's Skarmory. See you later, 100% gone there. Next opponent, we're going to have the Charger Bug in the lead, which is going to be something where we have to swap out. It's better, by the way, to go for one Shadow Claw before you swap out. Why? Because at the end of the day, it does not really matter at all. You lose one turn for swapping, and you have a 4-turn move against a 4-turn move. So with the two fast move turns from the Shadow Claw plus the 1 turn from swapping, you add 3 turns. And so the opponent never going to be able to sneak one in, and you're never going to be able to sneak one in either, but this is always going to happen. So it's just a free Shadow Claw, basically, and that's what I want to say with that. As you can see, we can go for the full farm down here, as this is going to knock out the opponent's Charger Bug. Let's see what is coming in next. This is kind of nice that we can align ourselves, but it's going to be another electric type. They're running a double electric type line, but by showcasing here that they're going to have a Lantern, I'm fairly certain that they're most likely going to have something like a Skarmory in the back here, because that's like a common team that people are using. And so I can try to go for the bait, thinking that they're most likely going to use a shield anyway, and they don't. So that is kind of bad for me now. I can still use a shield here, the opponent gonna go for a Surf, but I'm kind of forced to go for the Brick Break spam at this point, hoping that I can still kind of maybe knock them out with something here. They decide to use a shield, but they can still go for another charge move, and so it is going to be a tough one to come back from this one here. Surf is coming through. We can still go for a Brick Break, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Let's see. We can knock them out here, and they're going to have actually an Azumarill in the back. It's not going to be the Pokemon that I imagined it would be in the back, but honestly, the opponent's team is quite interesting. I guess it is okay still. It's a double water backline. You have Elite that is going to be okay against those grass type Pokemon because you have Charger Bug with the move Exeter. But let's see if we can still do something here. I think if I had the Shadow variant of Feraligatr, this game would have been over because I would have been able to definitely do enough damage with my Hydro Cannon plus the Shadow Claw. But sadly, we are not running the Shadow variant, and actually I think I still would have been able to survive the moves from the opponent as well. And so they can knock me out, but can we still get a Volt Switch in, which might be enough to knock them out? Let's find out here. We cannot. Next opponent, we're going to have a Bastion in the lead. This is going to be a matchup that I definitely do like here, I guess. I don't want to have it on my Charger Bug. Brick Break is still fine on back, but here it's definitely the best matchup that I could imagine at least. What you're going to see as well is that we're going to be able to use a shield here now, I think. Exactly, I kind of need to align myself. And so we can see that the opponent swaps now into the Manta, and I can go into my Raichu and just go for, I thought, the full farm down. But I have to say, I'm kind of disappointed in the damage output of the Raichu. Also, I'm kind of disappointed on the opponent that they're running Bubble Beam on the Mantine. Maybe that's still the way to go, but that is a weird choice of a move. But we can go for the full farm down still, get all the energy, but they still reach another move, which is going to be this time around the Bubble Beam again. I thought it was the Aerial Ace. As our attack is dropped now, I'm just trying to stall for time here as we have 100 energy. I kind of want to keep that for later. And so I tried to swap out eventually, but now we can still go for one more Brick Break. The opponent is already kind of low. They are one debuff there as well, but it's still not going to be enough to knock them out. And so they swap out into their final Pokemon being the Poliwrath. I can go for the Hydro Cannon spam now, which is gonna allow us to get a first shield. We can go for another one. Might even get another shield. Let's find out here. It does not, but we can still reach another one in time, and so they're gonna go for the full farm down, which is fine for me, because if they're going to use a shield here, which they don't, I would have been able to just wall charge them, but I still have my Charger Bug, at least that's what I thought. But I swap actually into my Raichu, try to drop the opponent's defense with that Brick Break, and now it's down to Charger Bug to win this for me. It is going to be a close one. Can we survive 2 Scalds on our Charger Bug? That's basically the question here. First, it's going to be an icy wind, and I think this was maybe a mistake. I think they would have been able to go for 2 Scalds, but it does not matter because now we survive. We can go for the discharge here on the 1 HP from the Bastion, gonna go down, and we can move on to the next opponent. Feraligatr against Alolan Sandslash. We're gonna see that I have to stay in here kinda, and luckily the Powder Snow variant, which we can resist, and so it's kinda a decent matchup. Azumarill comes in, kinda decent matchup for my Pokemon in the back. I can decide in what kind of electric type I want to go into, but what you see me to do here is I'm just gonna stay in for a little bit and get some extra energy, because I feel like my backline might struggle a little bit against the Alolan Sandslash, and so I kind of want to get some energy advantage on my lead. And now I can still go for some discharge damage here, hopefully against the Azumarill. This should be another Ice Beam, which I still can take, and so I can just over farm by quite a bit, have 2 discharges stored, and now I can either get the 2 shields from the opponent or the knockout, and I take the knockout here, which is totally fine for me, as I can even still reach another discharge. I thought at least against the opponent Sandslash, but it is going to be the wrong Pokemon, and so yeah, it would have been better here for sure to go for the Exeter, which actually matters quite a bit, because I think with the Exeter damage, I would have been able to knock them out with a Hydro Cannon and a few fast moves, but like this, we're going to be in a tougher spot now. For sure, tougher spot, but let's see what the opponent tries to do. They decide to let the move go through. And I am also going to decide to let this move go through. Mud Bomb, not going to do as much as the Santos is going to do here, and at least we're going to have Brick Break against them. We are still forced to go for 2 shields because they're swapped out with quite a lot of energy. And so Brick Break is coming through. Is it going to be enough to knock them here? This is going to be the question. It is not, because they use a shield. And now I just have to hope and pray that I can outspeed them, which I was kinda doubting as the opponent goes for the bait. And yes, they can go for another charge move. Ice Punch, we survive. But they played this honestly basically perfect, and my only hope is that I win the CMP tie, which I do, and now I have to somehow outspeed the opponent's Whiscash. I doubt that this is possible, but let's find out. We can actually still outspeed them, go for the Hydro Cannon, and so this is going to be game for them, and we can move on to the next opponent. Magnezone in the lead is not really ideal for this team, but we can still kind of deal with it. We can stay in for a little bit and I can get a shield advantage with the Hydro Cannon. And also, my Charger Bug should be able to basically resist everything from the opponent. I think even my Raichu resists everything from Magnezone. I think any electric type does. So I'm still going to use a shield here because a Wild Charge is not something you kind of want to joke about. Just hitting quite hard. I can still go for the extra here and knock them out. And so it depends on what they have in the back. And seeing a Wigglytuff here, I was kind of thinking, I most likely know this team. By the way, very bad fast move time by me here. I don't know what I was thinking. I went for 16 turns, so I went for 20 turns against a 3-turn user. But yeah, it is what it is. It actually kind of does matter a little bit here. I think I maybe would have been able to go for another charge move. Now I'm just kind of have to hope that Feraligatr can do something here. It is going to be a Tropius as expected. And yeah, it is going to be a tough one. Now we can swap out still into the Raichu. I'm gonna try to go for a Brick Break maybe and then go for the Wild Charge because one Wild Charge is not going to be enough, like definitely not. But I can't also let the opponent drop my defense, defense here with the Wild Charge. And so I have to kind of overfarm anyway because I need 2 Wild Charges and yeah, no, there was no way of winning this game. Next opponent, we're going to have the Hakamo in the lead. That is going to be one that is a little bit of trickier one for this team because my Pokemon in the back, the Raichu, does not really want to see it. Everything is resisted and also the Charger Bug is not the best one for this one. I sneak a move through here, which is quite important as now the Dragon Claw is going to connect, but I can at least get 4 free turns there, which is quite nice. They can go for the Dragon Claw spam here. I don't really care too much about it. But I can still go for the X though, which should be just neutral. I think, I always think that Bug is resisted from it is actually resisted, never mind. So I was not only thinking this and it was actually the case. Congratulations to me. But anyway, we're gonna see here the Feraligatr trying its best to get as much energy as possible, which was kind of not necessary and maybe was actually more of a bad play. But maybe Raichu can still win it. We have one Pokemon at least here that we can definitely beat, and Hakamo is usually paired with either the Lantern or the Skarmory. So my hopes are kind of high here that they're going to have a Skarmory in the back, and they do. And so we're kind of unfortunate because they catch the Brick Break here. But look at the damage here from Brick Break. I was kind of surprised about this and I don't really know why. But we can now go ahead and go for another charge move. The opponent kind of has to shield this Wild Charge here. And so we can even get a free fast move in, which is kind of allowing us to just farm them all the way down. Even with a debuff on our defense, we should be kind of fine here. And yes, we're going to get out of this matchup with 2 Wild Charges. And this is going to be it for the Feraligatr. Next opponent, we're going to have Feraligatr against the Broguiere. This is a matchup that I kind of want to stay in for a little bit. You kind of want to swap out eventually though. I decided to go for Hydro Cannon just because I need some damage on them. Like, it doesn't really matter on how much damage it is, I just need a little bit of damage or a shield, both of which is going to be fine. And now I can go ahead and go into my little bug friend here, and I should be able to outspeed them as well to the next move as they swap onto the Whiscash, which is totally fine. This is kind of how this team is supposed to work. You try to get out the Whiscash with the Charger Bug and you can still punish them with the Extra, which is quite nice for us as nobody really expects a double electric backline, especially not with a Raichu. As you can see, we can let the move go through. This is going to now knock out our Charger Bug. We can go back into our Feraligatr, and the energy advantage that we're gonna get here is quite nice, and so I decided to use a shield here, just also because my Raichu is kind of frail against something like the Dragon Breath, but they're going to have actually the Mantine in the back, which is a lovely, as we can go for the double super effective Volt Switch, getting quite a lot of damage onto them. As I swap out into the Broguiere, I can now go for the Brick Break spam, and if I'm right, I should be able to outspeed them to the next one. Because I only need 8 turns and the opponent should need like 11 turns, something like this, to get to their charge move. And yes, I can outspeed them, but this still does not mean that we can win this game because we're quite low. It depends all on the Mantine here, but look at the damage that we can do, look at the damage the opponent takes, and 1 HP in a Raichu is all it takes. We need to win this game here. Now we can move on to the final one for today. Feraligatr against an Annihilate. This is going to be a matchup that is quite a decent one for us. As I swap out into the Lickitung, I kind of just want to weaken them a little bit as this Hydro Cannon is going to connect. I can swap out now into the Charger Bug. Maybe could have went also into the Raichu, but Charger Bug can just take those hits a little bit easier, and that's kind of why I want to go into this one. But with the Hydro Cannon already on it, we kind of put them into a range where we most are going to be able to farm them down after 1 extra. I might want to use a shield here onto the opponent, I'm not too sure about it. But Charger Bug is going to be able to connect that extra against them. And yeah, I have to go for a shield now. That was kind of a silly play by me. Don't think this was ideal. Show went straight for the extra instead. But as you're gonna see here, we can at least get out of here with 2 of them. Doesn't really help us if we can only go for 1 discharge. And so, not perfectly played by me. Show went for the extra before the opponent goes for another body slam. But at least I can align myself, which is hopefully kind of nice here. But honestly, this is going to be a tough one. Like, the Ferrothorn is going to be something that I don't want to see at all on my team, because I have like electric types plus also the water type in the lead, and so at least we have the super effective Brick Break, and they decide to shield, and this is quite important because now I can let the move go through. I still have my shield left, and I have a ton of energy on my Feraligatr, and I'm still going to go for the Ice Beam here. I don't even have to bait here, I feel, because the opponent should be already in range for this, and also with the Shadow Claw damage adding up, we should be kind of fine, and this is going to be still a close one because they still have their Annihilate in the back. I'm forced to go for a charge move here, hope that this is going to be enough, and I still have to reach that Ice Beam. Can we reach the Ice Beam time without the debuff now? Is it even enough? Let's find out here. Final move for today, and hopefully you enjoyed this one, because Feraligatr definitely did, and I see you then. Bye bye.